in one of the greatest states in the nation. We go from Ohio to Florida.
Again.
Yes, Tampa's showing massive capacity for compassion and understanding. Tampa, Florida City Council has passed a new ordinance called Item Number 60, which allows police officers to arrest people who sleep or store personal property in public places. So anyone caught with a backpack that, you know, they sit down beside them on a bench and then they lay down on the bench to sleep, they'll probably be arrested now. There were many protesters holding signs outside the council building during voting, reading signs like homelessness is not a choice and sleeping is not a crime. But of course, the public voice was ignored. The measure passed anyway. Homelessness is a major problem in Tampa. It's a major problem in Florida. I used to live in Florida. I lived in Pensacola, Florida. Every day that you go out, you see someone on the median holding a sign saying, "We'll work for food," or trying to get to so-and-so state, "Can you please, you know, give me a ride," or something like that. There are homeless people everywhere. Most of them are elderly. Most of them seem like they're not mentally okay. Many of them I've seen have badges of honor. They're veterans. Some of them are still wearing their uniforms. There are children, single mothers with children. Anyway, Tampa has one of the highest homeless populations in the country among mid-sized cities. There are approximately 7,419 homeless people in Tampa, according to 2012 estimates. It is reported that the homeless are, and what makes this worse is that it's reported that the homeless are charged between $10 and $42 a night to stay in a homeless shelter. This was news to me, okay, when I first read the story.
Okay,
and then
they're homeless because they can't afford to live anywhere. And a homeless shelter, which is supposed to be there to help homeless people who can't afford shelter,
are charging.
They're charging the homeless.
And 18 out of 25 of the shelters that are in the city are for specific needs. Most of them for domestic violence, a few of them for mental illness. So they will actually turn you away if you don't have one of those problems and you're homeless.
And you know what? One thought that crossed my mind too, and I'm going to go back to what you said about personal effects, right? Not being able to store personal effects anywhere, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if this could also be enforced for protesters that pitch tents.
Yeah, I bet it could. Absolutely.
You know,
I bet someone even thought of that. I bet someone even thought of that.
Fascinating.
You're absolutely right. And just think about it. Even if the shelter only charges the minimum of $10 a night, that's $300 a month. So if they could afford that, they could afford to.
They can afford an apartment.
Yes, especially in a cheaper area in Florida, you could find a one-bedroom for about $300. And the shelters are usually full anyway. The city council members even acknowledged that fact themselves. They said they know that the shelters are usually full. Yet when they passed this ordinance, they did not pass any laws for allotting any more funds or money to go to more homeless shelters or funding the homeless shelters that exist as right now. So they're not giving any leeway. They're not giving any help to the homeless people to prevent them from sleeping outside.
Okay, so what I get from this already is, first of all, Florida, good job. You've shown how much you don't give a shit about people. Great work. All right, so like I said, what I get from this is that they don't care about their problem. They're trying to kind of scoop it away, like, you know, a brush under the rug. It's not a problem here. Homelessness, what name so? We're going to get rid of that. The second thing I get from this is the fact that they're locking these people up. right? Who
Yes.
profits from that? Who profits from locking up people?
Florida has a major for-profit prison system going on.
Bingo. And there it is, right there. So not only do they get the benefit of cleaning up the streets, so they don't have these homeless people, these homeless veterans, people who serve their country, or people with mental disabilities, mental problems, who who have absolutely nowhere else to go, because it's not like we help the homeless here in America.
Right.
But they're also helping out the prison corporations to pad their bottom line. This is wrong on so many counts, and this is completely fucked up. What are we doing here in this country? We are not taking care of our own.
There are cold-hearted people that say, well, they're better off in jail anyway. At least they're inside and they're getting food and shelter. They're criminalizing being poor. And there are up to 100 people on a waiting list at a time just to get a bed at a homeless shelter.
But there's plenty of room in prisons. There's plenty of money that they can spend on building new prisons in Florida. How much do you bet that some of that money that could have went to expanding homeless shelters and maybe actually coming up with programs to fight poverty and to take care of our veterans, because a large majority of these people are veterans. How much money, instead of going to those programs, went into paying a prison corporation to build a goddamn new prison? This is sick.
Absolutely. It is sick. It's twisted, and they're not the only ones doing it. Miami legislators are also taking steps to make, quote, life-sustaining activities such as sleeping or brushing your teeth or washing up or eating in public illegal. And the eating.
So does that mean we don't have any more cafes outside?
I was just thinking the same thing. A person on their lunch break isn't allowed to go out with a sandwich and sit on a bench in the park and eat. Are you really?
I can't sit there. I can't be driving my car eating a sub.
The criminalization of the poor people in this country is absolutely disgusting. It drives me nuts. There's no excuse for it except the greed. The greed runs everything, and once the greed consumes these people, these legislators, it seems like they're not even human anymore. They're just drones that stick their hand out to accept a check of whoever's willing to twist their knobs and make them do what it is that they want. They don't care about human lives. They don't care about the families that are destroyed. They don't care about the people losing their homes, the people starving on the streets, the people that are dying of diseases that they can't treat because they don't have any goddamn medical coverage. These are soulless, heartless bastards.
And it's the same people who say, no, Obamacare, that's socialism. We don't want that. That's not American.
Of course not. Even though it's initially a Republican idea that benefits insurance, but Obama thought of it, so it's got to be socialist.
It's got to be evil and un-American because it's President Obama. It's a Democrat. It's look, and I don't, and any of the Democrats down in Miami and Tampa that are even thinking about this or that have signed on to this, shame on you guys.
Yeah,
like
shame
the maximum
on you.
amount of shame. You're supposed to be looking out for the least fortunate among us, but you're
Right.
not. You're looking out for yourselves. You're looking out for your pocketbook. You're looking out for your corporate masters.
Of course, they're in elected offices. They're supposed to be servants of the public, but that's a joke now. If you were probably to even say that to one of them, they'd probably laugh in your face.
They're the servants of multinational corporations. We all know this.
They're part of a governing office. They're supposed to govern. That's what governing is about, is public service and taking care of the public good. But they don't even know what that means anymore. Being a public servant isn't supposed to be.
They see the public good as what's going to bring jobs to our area. We got homeless people sleeping on benches. Get rid of them. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. You know what? Actually, I do care what you do as long as I make a buck off it.
Yeah, public service isn't supposed to be a fast track to enormous wealth. And of course, there's also the aesthetic issue. They say that seeing a bunch of homeless people around on the streets is bad for tourism. Well, you could put them in a home, then they wouldn't be homeless anymore.
Yeah, you know, look, there's so many things that we need to do to change this country around to where it's actually we do treat our veterans with respect. We treat our homeless, you know, with respect, and get them out of homelessness, you know, and get the mentally ill people into places where they can actually be treated and treated like human beings. Instead, we're just locking them up like animals, as
And
if they
remember,
belong in cages, and it's just not right.
and let's keep this in mind, and I'll end on this note. If you don't think that we can actually put all of these homeless people into homes, there are 24 empty houses in this country for every one homeless person.